Welcome back to SB Nation. The Tour de France, French for the Tour of France, is upon us, and over the course of one prologue and 20 stages, the cyclists will ride 3,497 kilometers, which in miles is actually, it doesn't translate, they don't have miles in France. But to get things kicked off, let's go to a pre-race Q&A between the bloggers of Podium Cafe and SB Nation founder Tyler Bleszinski.
This year's edition of the Tour, the 2012 edition, has more time trialing miles than in several years past. How do you think that affects the race?
Hey Tyler, what does it mean to have over 100 kilometers of time trialing in this year's Tour de France? I think it gives people a little more certainty about the need to be aggressive in the rest of those stages. For Bradley Wiggins, who's relying on those time trials to win him the Tour, he's just going to go about his business. But for everybody else who thinks that they may need to at least make up a little bit of time someplace else, or in the case of the guys who maybe aren't the strongest time trialists, a lot of time somewhere else, it really puts them on a footing of knowing, hey, I've got to make up this amount of time. Time trials are a little bit predictable. Sometimes they can go awry, but you pretty much know Bradley Wiggins in these 250-kilometer time trials is going to gain a certain amount of time. If I'm in a, kind of Joe average time trialist, I can guess I'm probably going to lose, 2 minutes here, 2.5 minutes there. That's what I need to make up, and I need to do it on the climbing stages, and I need to find a way to be aggressive. It also, for somebody like Cadel Evans, I think it also brings into play the importance of doing what Evans did to win the Tour last year, which is find ways on those medium mountain stages where you can pick up just a little bit of time in the sort of final climb of the day, something that maybe isn't viewed as an opportunity to make a big difference, but a little bit here and a little bit there can always help.
Mark Cavendish from Sky came out the other day and basically said, I'm not in the battle for the green jersey for the points. Do you think that was just trying to lower expectations, or do you really think that he's just going to go for stage wins?
Cavendish. It's a tough question because ordinarily a guy like Cavendish who says, I'm not going for this competition, I'm just going to, he's just kind of tamp down expectations. We refer to that as sandbagging. I've had a bad off season, I'm overweight, don't worry about me, I'm not going to win anything. And then, of course, that guy later that day, goes off and drills it to the rest of the field and is never seen again. Cavendish is a pretty plain-spoken guy, so it wouldn't surprise me for him to just say, look, here's my hand, I'm focused on the Olympics. The Olympics take place in London. He's from the Isle of Man, which I guess makes him British. Those things are too complicated for me as an American. But anyway, he's came up through the British cycling system. He clearly would love to win in London. The Olympics are never going to be held on the Isle of Man, so I'm assuming this is as close to a home race as he's ever going to get. From talking to riders, the Olympics really do have a great deal of meaning, even though it's only every 4 years, and the discipline of cycling kind of gets lost in the shuffle of all the, thousands of Olympic sports they have these days. It's still a big deal to be the Olympic gold medal winner. And of course, our old friend Sammy Sanchez, has been wearing little bits of gold all around his uniform for the last 4 years to remind everybody who ever stops and, asks him how he's doing that, he is the reigning Olympic champion. That's a big deal. At the same time, if he wins, if he gets on a roll early, it is a possibility that he'll say, I've got green on my back and I'm not giving it until someone comes and takes it from me. There's no law that says you can't finish the Tour de France and then do another hard day of racing in London 6 days later. So we'll see about that.
The two contenders that people seem to be talking about more than anybody else are Bradley Wiggins from Sky and Cadel Evans from BMC. Who do you see as maybe sneaking up and being somebody who can challenge either for a top spot or a podium?
One guy I have been pointing to, and I'll throw him out there here too, is Robert Hessink, the Condor of Varsseveld, Dutch rider. He's been around the top level of his game now for about 3 or 4 years. He's long been expected to be a potential next Dutch winner of the Tour de France. He finished 5th in 2009 and has had some problems with staying healthy the last couple of years. So he's somebody I think has a chance maybe of cracking the top 2, and maybe if everything really falls right, he could win. But he should be a strong contender for that 3rd spot. Another guy who I think is definitely a stealth contender is Denis Menchov, a Russian rider. He's had a lot of success in Grand Tours. He's kind of getting along in years and hasn't shown much in the last couple of years. But think about this. The guy won the Giro d'Italia in 2009. Why? Because they had a long time trial in the middle of the race. He won that stage and never looked back. In 2 of the 3 previous years prior to that, he won the Tour of Spain, the Vuelta a España. How? By winning the time trial and hanging on in the climbs. This is definitely a good course for Menchov. And he should have some support with the Katusha team. If he's on his form, why not Denis?
For more Tour de France coverage, be sure to check out SB Nation and Podium Cafe. Subscribe to SB Nation's YouTube channel for more on the Tour de France. We'll see you soon.